Hi, this is Igor Chibrin from Fair Grant Writing, where we guarantee that you get government grants or our grant writing is free. In this video, I wanted to answer the 10 most popular questions that our clients ask us about government grants. So first of all, there are two major types of government financing, the government grants and government loans. So the government grants are the non-repayable contribution, the gifts that the government gives you, and you don't have to pay this money back. Whereas the government loan, you still have to pay this money back, but there are a few important advantages of government loans compared to traditional loans from the banks or other financial institutions. So first of all, when you apply for government, you get the government loan, you don't have to pay the interest back. So it's interest free 0%. So you immediately save a lot of money just because of that. The other important advantage is that the government allows you to delay, reschedule your first payment for up to 1 year after your project is completed. And finally, the other advantage is that the repayment period is 5 years. There's a lot of government grants out there, and each government grant has its own purpose. So, the most popular purposes are there are grants for buying equipment, there are grants for research and development, there are grants for export business development, grants for skills training, for hiring, for software system adaptation. So those are the most popular areas of grants. So there are a few other grants that are very regional and specific. For example, there are grants that only are available in Northern Ontario. There are grants that only available in Eastern Ontario, in Southwestern Ontario, Quebec, Alberta, other Canadian provinces. So they are also very regional. And when it comes to checking your eligibility, we will look at your location, and we'll look at your project, your purpose, and what kind of project do you have, and what type of investment you need. So that's a very popular question. This area is not something that a lot of businesses explore. So there's a lot of misconceptions, disbeliefs in the government grants. There is a misconception that it wouldn't work for me. Like that's one of the most popular concern that we have. Like, hey, is it going to work for me or not? So the only way to do that is basically to get your situation and assess it against the requirements of the grants and find specific grants for you. Now, it absolutely does work. So every government program has a list of hundreds and thousands of applicants that successfully received the funding. You can also check out our website, our testimonials page, and success stories page. So you have three options. You can either not apply at all, you can apply yourself, and you can use the help of professional grant writer. So all of these options are valid, and depending on your case, it may make more sense, let's say, to do it on your own. But when you do that, I wanted you to think about the time that you or your colleagues, your employees would spend on actually the grant application writing and all the paperwork and communication with the government. Think about all this time, all this effort, multiply that by their hourly rate, see how much it's going to cost you internally if you do that internally, and then make a decision. The amount of money that you can get varies depending on the program. Typically, if you apply for a government grant, the very average would be 50,000. But that's a very average. So some grants they allow up to, let's say, 75, 100,000. Some grants allow up to 30,000. So on a very average, I would say 50,000. Now, when you apply for a government loan, it's very different because for the loans, the caps are much, much higher. And it's realistic to get a few millions from the government. That's absolutely realistic. it is important to apply actually before your project has started. And most of the grants or loans program, they don't pay for any cost that you had spent before the project started. And even more, typically, if there are certain costs that you incurred in the past, and those costs were the part of the project would become ineligible. So I would encourage you to contact us as soon as possible before your project actually started, before you spend any money towards the project. And you can do that at fairgrantwriting.ca/contact. Well, most of the government grants accept the application electronically through special electronic forms, web forms, and you get access to the forms after you register with the government. There are a few programs though that still accept the paper or fax applications. Anyhow, typically what's required is the application form or forms and all the supportive documentation. Now, supportive documentation is different depending on the specific program. Typically, it includes the business plan, the financial plan, your financial statements, any proof or justifications or feasibility studies that would demonstrate that your project is viable, is eligible, and will have a benefit for Canada. So after your application is submitted, typically it takes the government between 6 and 8 weeks to assess the application and get back to you with the response. As a rule, they contact you during that period to get some more information, to get to know you better. They operate the taxpayers' money, so they have to make sure that this is your business is legitimate, your real business, and so they will be contacting you. They will be asking some additional questions to clarify. They may actually visit your facility to see what's going on and what you're going to spend money for. So typically, after that period of 6 to 8 weeks, they make a decision. Well, provided the decision is positive, then you have to report to the government on a regular basis. Some programs require quarterly reporting, some programs require monthly reporting, some programs require reporting on a project basis. Let's say when you spend some money, you report, you claim, you get money back, and so on. But again, depending on the program, the schedule of reporting, the schedule of further paperwork and communication with the government is individual, and will help you to get through that. So I tried to answer the most popular questions that I get when I speak to my clients. If you don't hear the answer to your question, I encourage you to contact me either by email. It's Igor, IGOR, at fairgrantwriting.ca, or give me a call, 647-800-5006. I'd be happy to answer your questions. And keep in mind that Fair Grant Writing is the only grant writing service provider in the province. Guarantees that you get government funding or the grant writing is free.